and accidentally traveled into a hugely popular manga world. He had happened to know absolutely nothing about the plot. He who only wanted to live a low-key life was actually targeted by the female lead. Since then, the love line that should have been sweet completely derailed. Looking at the face reflected on the bottle, he was shocked. Because this is not my face, the original me. Due to an accidental fire, my soul traveled into a high school student who was hit by a car at the same time. But what I didn't expect was, the original owner was completely a hardcore anime fan. Even this hairstyle that covers one eye was copied and cut from a manga character. Eventually, in the original owner's room, I finally discovered that this world is the hit manga from back then, Fight for Love. The reason it was so popular was that the male lead ultimately didn't choose any of the female leads, but actually married his childhood friend. The first time I met the male lead, Ryuji, was in my own family's restaurant. Later, to avoid crossing paths with the protagonist, with the top score, I deliberately applied to a private school far away. I also joined the student council, and using youthful energy as an excuse, I kept working out hard to change myself. So, in my second year of university, I had already become very strong. In that past year, I worked out like crazy, gaining muscle just to protect myself, because I was afraid that in a manga world, aliens, gangs, and other unexpected situations might appear. After all, that's how many manga are written. Although this year was very peaceful, I hope to keep living like this. But it didn't seem allowed, just as the school year started. The original female lead, Daijen, was assigned to the same class as me. Even worse news was that the male lead, Ryuji, was also here. I felt like this was a disaster. I had clearly chosen such a remote school. Once I get involved with them, my peaceful life will definitely be shattered. Before I could think further, the teacher walked in. Today is the start of school. I have an announcement to make. We have a transfer student joining our class today. Then looking at the girl outside the door, Rika, you can come in. But after I looked at the newcomer, I instantly felt like dying. This was yet another female lead from the manga, Rika. Then, she introduced herself generously on the stage, mentioning everything, even liking cats, sweets, and spicy bean soup. I should have thought of this, since even the male lead is here. How could she not come? You should know, in the original manga, she was the undisputed #1 in the popularity polls. Right after that, the teacher pointed to the seat between Ryuji and me, telling her to sit there for the time being. Ryuji was originally listening to music with his headphones on leisurely, but seemed to sense something. Looking up, his pupils shrank instantly. The transferring classmate was actually the violent girl from this morning. Rika also didn't expect that her deskmate would actually be the perverted guy from this morning. But the teacher thought they just had a misunderstanding, and said with a smile, "It's even better that you know each other." At this time, the relationship between Rika and Ryuji was still hostile. But I knew Rika would have a huge role later on. At this moment, I just wanted to stay far away from them. Or maybe just transfer schools directly? Then I shouldn't run into them again, right? But I still extinguished this unrealistic thought. After class, my classmate even asked to borrow manga from me. Of course. I haven't completely distanced myself from manga. After all, this is my future. Although I haven't read the manga, Fight for Love. Similar manga frameworks are always connected, as long as I follow romance, comedy, and love. These stories are mostly predictable, but there are always some disappointments. For example, still being in the same class as the male and female leads. So I need to read more complex manga. And after class, the male lead Ryuji pulled Ritsuka aside, saying he wanted to talk to him privately about something. It was about the accident this morning. The classmates watched the new transfer student go out with Ryuji. Very puzzled. Didn't they have a grudge against each other? And I also made an excuse saying I needed to go to the restroom. My tall stature and strong muscles created a huge sense of oppression in the eyes of my classmates. They all made way for me one after another, because I usually have a cold expression. They were whispering in private that I might be the heir of an assassin or a mafia elite, although it caused them to misunderstand. Almost no blind fools would provoke me. Right now, I only want to know what they are talking about, to better avoid them. Carefully thinking of a remote place suitable for conversation. There is only one place, and that is the academy backyard. I slowly poked my head out of the bushes, looking at the two of them. At this moment, Ryuji was frantically apologizing to Ritsuka, saying he didn't mean it this morning. I looked at his apologetic attitude now, thinking, as expected of a romantic comedy protagonist. Looking at Ryuji's comical appearance, Ritsuka finally couldn't help but burst into laughter. Then she looked at Ryuji with a beaming smile. You really are naively cute. I'm not that kind of fragile girl. Then why did you look like that when you saw me? Because I wanted to tease you. You who are eavesdropping on the side. I also felt speechless. No wonder she is the popular and cheerful heroine whose personality ranks tied for first. And the two of them are talking and laughing so quickly. From my experience of reading manga for over a year, this is the opening of a classic romantic comedy. At this moment, completely unnoticed, behind me, it stood someone at some point, Jin Yu Cheng, the great student council secretary. What are you doing, squatting in the bushes? You aren't doing something like peeping on female classmates, are you? This person's name is Miki, born into a prestigious noble family in Kyoto, and also the student council president. She is what people call the female villain. She is also considered a tragic character, destined to be ridiculed in the original work. Although she is a supporting female lead, she is still a female lead, destined to have a connection with the male lead Ryuji. Looking at the green branch I handed over, she was instantly puzzled. I want to put it in the student council office. It should look good, although Miffy didn't understand it at all. But she showed respect. Then she actually took the branch and said, since the secretary chose it himself, she will definitely display it in the office. My heart at this moment didn't know what to say. This was actually just an excuse I made up. She actually agreed to it. By the way, President Mickey, is there something you need? Speaking of which, Mickey suddenly burst into laughter to invite you to a meal. I'm afraid the newly joined underclassmen will be scared when they see you. Let's go quickly. If we are all late, the cafeteria won't have any food left, You are actually going to the cafeteria? I feel there is no food in the cafeteria suitable for your status, President Mickey. Hearing this, she paused her steps, turned her head, and said to me with a smile, You really don't know me, although I rarely go to the cafeteria. But I do have a unique understanding of gourmet food. The cured pork rice at your family's restaurant is very good. I think these delicious foods do not distinguish between commoners or nobles. But I felt like he was mocking me in a roundabout way, because he usually eats steak and drinks red wine in his life. Seeing that President Mickey still wanted to go to the cafeteria, I said again, The school cafeteria doesn't have cured pork rice. Then what might be there? Maybe beef over rice? She immediately became extremely conflicted. What if it doesn't taste good? What if it's unhealthy? What should I do then? Looking at her state right now, I thought to myself, she is still a rich young lady after all. She definitely can't change overnight, Mickey. Why are you here? The steak is getting cold. Turning my head, I saw the person coming. Was none other than the student council vice president, Akagi. He is a loyal follower of President Mickey. At this moment, he didn't expect that Mickey would actually be with me. In his mind, he automatically imagined a whole series of things. Kim Yu-sun, it's you again, the irresponsible one to the student council? But I felt it was completely baffling. Who told you never to go to the student council office? You caused the president to not even eat, and come out looking so pitiful to search. Is missing just one meal that pitiful? By this time, I was already amazed by his logic. But before I could argue back, Mickey stood in front of me. Don't talk nonsense. I never said I was pitiful. You. No need to stop me, President. I know everything. You know jack shit. I told you long ago. It's not like that. I am willing to die for you, President Mickey. Mickey only felt extremely embarrassed at this moment. She quickly dragged him away. That guy at Kagi was still shouting harsh words at me as he was leaving. But I had absolutely no idea what had happened at this point. Feeling completely baffled. Meanwhile, at the subway station after school, it represents that this manga has officially begun. Thanks to my desperate training before. Except for Sato, who was like me last year, everyone else avoids me, including Ryuji. Physique is king. If I keep staying quiet, I shouldn't get involved with them. Thinking of this, my heart couldn't help but feel lighter. The main storyline meeting. The plot will progress. I just need to live my life as a bystander. Just then, suddenly, a hand tugged at the corner of my clothes. I turned my head and saw someone I didn't expect. Hello? You are my classmate, Kim Yu-sun, right? I'm the transfer student, Ritsuka. At this moment, a huge wave of shock surged in my heart. I didn't understand why she appeared here, and approached me. The boy originally wanted to stay away from the male and female leads and live a peaceful life, but he didn't expect Ritsuka, the female lead, to actively approach him. She not only wasn't intimidated by my aura, but also took the initiative to make friends with me. Just now, Ritsuka actively greeted me at the subway station. Kim Yu-sun, meeting you is really great. Do you know how to get here? But what I was curious about at this moment was, how do you know my name? Ritsuka didn't say anything. She just pointed her finger at my name tag and said, Isn't it written right here? I didn't expect it would be the name tag. That exposed my name, and I instantly froze. Seeing my somewhat dazed look, Ritsuka also smiled. You are really a good person. But my mind was full of questions at this moment. Why did she think I was a good person? Then how do you know me? I haven't even spoken to you. Well, in the classroom, you sit right next to me. The aura around you is so strange. How could I not notice? I heard you once pulled over 50 bikers alone. But the first time I spoke to you, you were so kind, so you are a good person. I didn't expect the female lead, Ritsuka, to have such a cheerful personality. And I also forgot that there was such a thing as a name tag. Ranked number 1 in popularity. Is it because she is so friendly to everyone? Should I just show off my muscles? And scare her away, Jinyu-chan? The people in the class might misunderstand you. Until then, let me be your good friend. At this point, I had already been pushed to the edge of the cliff. Scaring him is definitely useless now. But I still tried it gloomily. I'm really looking forward to being friends with you, Rika. But the only response I got was that cheerful laughter. And then, I glanced at the address he wanted to ask about. He said he had just moved to this place. And the train lines are too confusing. Rika's address was in a wealthy area, full of mansions. I don't know what kind of rich girl background she has. This place isn't far from my house. We can just walk together. I knew it was right to ask you, and then he realized it again. Do you live near me, Shitosubashi Station? It's only 2 stops away from you, really? It must be fate that brought us together, I feel. What he said was getting more and more exaggerated. At this moment, I suddenly thought of a fatal loophole, because I hadn't read the book Fight for Love at all, although I am now well versed in all the tropes. But instead of making wild guesses, it's better to get information directly from Rika. In case she falls out with the male lead, I can still offer some advice. Thinking of this, my mood improved as well, and asked Rika, what would you like to drink? My treat? Just as a token of friendship between good friends. Then I'll have a Coke. Rika took the Coke, and gulped down a huge mouthful, followed by a satisfied burp. Seeing this, I asked, do you like drinking Coke? Actually, not really. It's just that I've been watching my figure, so I didn't drink it. Then she pulled out her fashion photos from her album to show me. In the past, I used to be a model for fashion magazines at home, so body management was a must. I always feel that the photos look a bit different from you in person. Could it be the makeup? Rika suddenly got angry, and the next moment, the sound of the subway train entering the station pulled our attention back. Rika looked at the crowd, keeping their distance from us, and seemed to realize that the people around were avoiding them. As for me, I was already used to it. When transferring, I shouted, Rika, hurry up and keep up, and sent her onto the subway, heading to her home. Rika also said enthusiastically, see you tomorrow. I stood at the subway station, watching the train recede, knowing that I would definitely be entangled with the protagonist in the future. At lunchtime the next day, I came to the pavilion next to the parking lot with my bento. planning to eat it, just as I was about to put a piece of sushi into my mouth. A voice pulled my attention away. It was Rika, seeing me eating here alone. Tears welled up in her eyes involuntarily. She felt that even if I ate in the classroom, and my classmates felt uncomfortable, I still shouldn't be eating next to the garbage area. Although I said I was already used to it. Rika still couldn't help but feel sorry for me, but just then, Rika suddenly saw that my bento was gimbap, and her eyes lit up instantly. I've never eaten that before. I've only seen it on TV. I didn't expect her tears to stop so quickly, but her eyes were still staring straight at my lunch, Jinyu Chang. If you don't mind, let's eat lunch together. I immediately stated that I had no way to bring gimbap every day. Do you think I'm doing this for the gimbap? At this moment, I finally understood why Rika is the most popular one. In just 2 short days, my relationship with her has become quite close. She is much more cheerful than I imagined. I heard your family runs a barbecue restaurant. It really is authentic. I was quite speechless. Isn't this just the most ordinary gimbap? Immediately after, she made me take one from her lunchbox as well. I couldn't win the argument, so I had to do it. The moment I put it in my mouth, I suddenly felt like my head was going to explode. Someone once said that half of life is sugar, but this food is way too sweet. Is this finding a small amount of food in sugar? But Ritsuka said, this is the right amount. It's just perfect for oneself. As a cook family, I really cannot tolerate this. Eating only sweets will ruin your health. Next time I will teach you how to make egg rolls. What kind of salt do you put in egg rolls? I'll make you a sweet and savory version. Ritsuka, however, said, everyone actually has their own little quirks just then. 2 people in the distance caught my attention. At this moment, President Mickey looked at the 2 of us in our current state, trembling with anger. Inappropriate opposite-sex relationships on campus. As the student council president, I will never tolerate this happening. I looked at her in confusion. What inappropriate relationship? A boy and a girl eating alone in such a secluded place? Isn't that an inappropriate relationship? If you put it that way, haven't we also been meeting in strange places lately? We are student council members. We meet often. Isn't that perfectly normal? Mickey looked at you and Ritsuka, who was staring at her. Do you have anything else to say? Only to see Ritsuka happily saying, I remember. You are the dark. Student council president Mickey never expected Ritsuka would say this, secretly. Do the students call me that? Mainly because you always wear a black uniform. So that's why they call you that. This is to show the majesty of the student council. How dare you be rude to me? Actually, everyone teases that you're just cosplaying. Mickey also didn't expect her public image to be like this. She then pointed at Ritsuka and said, you just wait. I'll be back. Ritsuka and I watched their receding figures, always feeling like we did something wrong, but not knowing what we did wrong. After school, I was sitting at my desk, thinking about what to do in the future, when a voice pulled my thoughts back. Kim Woo-sung. Why aren't you going home? Is this a club brochure? You're already a sophomore, and you haven't joined a club yet? I said that because I was busy with the student council. I didn't have time. Hearing this, Ritsuka suddenly got excited. Then come with me tomorrow for club trials. Let's visit each club. It's better than sitting here staring at the wall. I thought about it, and it seemed right, so I stood up. Why don't we go right now? Let's visit all the sports clubs one by one first. Ritsuka asked in confusion, why? I let out a sinister laugh at this moment, because I'm very curious about how strong I am. Meanwhile, at the soccer training field, the blonde-haired guy said angrily, how could he not score even 1 goal? Although they didn't score a single goal, they were incredibly arrogant at this moment. Just then, a huge figure directly loomed over them. Could you please move out of the way? This person was none other than the 3rd-year soccer captain, Lin Ping. Seeing a tough opponent, the 2 quickly apologized and said they were leaving right away. Thanks, Captain. They were really annoying us just now. As soon as the captain appeared, they ran off. But Lin Ping let out a heavy sigh, because this year's freshmen don't have anyone particularly outstanding. And yet he really wants to win this year's national championship. It would be great if we could recruit a strong member. At this time, the blondie, who was scared away, angrily said, how about I go back now and beat him up? I don't want to get involved. I heard that the speed of his kicks is famous nationwide. You can compete with him? Fighting is not about brute force. Immediately after, the blondie wanted to find a way to get even, but suddenly bumped into someone behind him. Which kid bumped into me? Walking without wearing glasses. Hearing this, I instantly stopped in my tracks, turned around and looked. Do you want to say that again? Seeing who the person saying this was. After that, cold sweat instantly covered his cheeks. Without a single moment of hesitation, he turned around and ran into the distance. Ritsuka helplessly blamed me for talking so loudly. And to get along then, we came to the soccer training field with Ritsuka. The team members were all curious why I would come here. Could it be to avenge the 2 guys just now? After all, everyone in the school knows how scary I am. But the captain told the members to relax. He is not someone who would waste time to avenge that kind of guy. With that body of his, he is already a national-level powerhouse. Then he came in front of me. Kim Yu-sung. I've heard so much about you. I'm the captain of the soccer club. Lim Pyung, what wind blew you here? I said I was here to try out that huge sense of pressure. Made Lim Pyung freeze. Even though the height difference is only 10 centimeters, the championship will no longer be a dream. Then he immediately brought me in front of the goal, telling me to just kick the ball in with all my might. With all my might? If that's the case, then I'll go all out. Right after that, powering up fiercely, my legs swung high up in the eyes of others. The aura on me at this moment was incredibly terrifying. Using all my strength to kick the ball towards the goal, the ball rubbed violently against the air, making a huge sound. The members of the soccer team all looked at this scene in shock. only to see that the soccer ball in front of me was completely destroyed. This is simply not something a human could kick. Then I asked Ritsuka behind me, where are we going for the next battle? Next, we are going to the basketball club. Crushing them like this is really fun. At this time, the news that I was going to crush every club had already spread throughout the school. Kim Yu-sung. You finally couldn't hold back and started to take action. A person like you. How could you endure the loneliness of being invincible? At this time, with a slam dunk, I shattered the backboard directly. This scene made the crowd below very surprised. Right after, with a baseball pitch, I made a hole directly in the ground. Then, Ritsuka recorded soccer, table tennis on the notebook. Track and field, volleyball, baseball, judo, kendo, swimming, tennis club. This is simply too perfect, I asked Ritsuka. How many sports clubs are left? Ritsuka smiled mischievously. So you were curious about this. She took off her glasses. Let me answer your question. I was a bit speechless. Is it necessary to go this far? Excluding table tennis, judo, volleyball. There are no tryouts today. There are 3 clubs left, track and field, and swimming. And the kendo club. In short, there are 3 sports clubs here that I can sign up for. I really appreciate Ritsuka. But there's actually no need to do this, Ritsuka. Besides your modeling work, have you also started acting? She was a bit stunned. Why ask this so suddenly? Actually, I think she's quite talented. Never mind. It's a bit embarrassing to say it out loud. Actually, Ritsuka did do some work similar to performing. I was suddenly startled. Could it be what I'm thinking? What could make it so hard for her to speak about? But as the female lead, it's impossible to have such a backstory. She grabbed my arm. Let's not talk about this. Don't we still have 3 clubs left? Seeing her so flustered, I didn't bother to ask further. I decided to go to the kendo club first. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the kendo club, I arrived aggressively. Hearing this, everyone gathered to watch the excitement. I heard he shut down all the clubs. Is he going to annex the kendo club now? Ritsuka instantly became a manager. If you have any business, you can talk to me. At this moment, the door slowly opened. Then a voice was heard saying, You finally made it to this point. The one who used video as an excuse. To crash clubs everywhere, a third-rate thug. The next moment, Kazama Yukika spoke. Your tyranny ends here. I will stop you. Everyone was cheering for her. I only came here because I'm interested in the kendo club. Just tell me how to sign up for the video. Kazama Yukika thought my attitude was quite arrogant. She said a 1-point match. The first to land a valid hit wins. I'll be your opponent. Please enter the training hall. This made many people very excited. Human weapon, vs Kendo president. This is bound to be interesting. Some even took out their phones to start recording. Ritsuka behind me laughed. Looks like they've cast you as the villain. Yukika roared. Everyone shut up. Everyone looked a bit stunned. This is a one-and-own duel between me and Kim Woo-sung. No one else is allowed to barge in. If anyone insists on coming in, then, before dealing with Kim Woo-sung, I will first finish off. That person, everyone was too scared to speak. Who knew that President's presence could be so powerful? Ritsuka was right. The pressure is no joke. This woman is just too dangerous. So I told Ritsuka to wait at the door for a moment. I'll be right back after going inside. I saw quite a lot of weapons and equipment. Yukika reminded me to put on protective gear. I said I don't need it. I feel like my current setup is fine. We can start now. Don't blame me. If you get hurt, midway through her sentence, she was interrupted by me. There's no way I'll get hurt. You're quite a joker. Maybe you won't even be able to touch a single hair of mine. Are you ready, Kim Woo-sung? Next, the battle begins. I blocked her attack with 1 strike. No matter how fast she swung her sword, I blocked them all. But this was just a test. The real duel hasn't even started. She thought I was just an ordinary person. Soon I exposed an opening. Yukika naturally wouldn't miss it. She struck my wrist. My sword was knocked away by her, leaving me stunned. She called me a fool. And laughed so terrifyingly. Yukika was incredibly shocked. Could it be a trap? The moment she backed away, the sword that just flew out returned to my hand. Yukika called me a lunatic, maybe even a psychopath. Was she planning to lure me in first, and then grip the sword again to counterattack? If it were a second later, the one being defeated would have been me. Setsuka thought so. She felt I was too dangerous. I really underestimated her just now. If this drags on, she would be the one in danger, so she decided to end the battle with the next strike, and right after, she took her stance and unleashed her full aura. This is the clan's ultimate technique, Pig Blood Slash, Jin Yu Cheng. It's time to end this, but I didn't feel any pressure at all. Setsuka's sword struck directly against my chest, Jin Yu Cheng. How does it taste? This is the secret technique of the Bee Demon clan. Even in training, no one has ever taken this blow. Setsuka thought she had won, but the next second, she froze. Then, she was directly hit by me and knocked down. She completely did not expect the situation to turn out like this. Why didn't I notice it? Setsuka tightly gripped the sword in her hand. Setsuka looked at my body. Could it be that this guy's defense? Oh my god, this damn muscle monster. Time passed to the next morning. The news of me defeating the Kendo Club president had already spread, and some speculated that my goal in doing this was to take over the school. This left me completely speechless. I just wanted to have a friendly sparring match. Is this still the romance I once knew? But fortunately, Ryuji, as always, was not affected by these rumors. He is the protagonist. So he shouldn't stray too far from the main storyline, right? At this moment, Ritsuka walked over to greet me. The next second, the front door was pushed open, and a red-haired girl barged in. Damn you, Ryuji, get out here. Everyone was very curious about what was happening. Isn't that Karen Tojo from the Kendo Club? Ryuji stepped forward. I am Ryuji. What do you want with me? I heard you bullied the freshmen of our club. I went to the hospital to visit them yesterday and heard everything. Ryuji felt there might be a misunderstanding. Daijin stepped forward to explain. There might really be a misunderstanding here, but she was snapped at. Who do you think you are? Daijin got angry too. You're from the Kendo Club, right? Your freshmen are the ones who are wrong. Yesterday, a few students from the Kendo Club came to find me, and they even tried to drag me into an alley. Even though I told them they couldn't do that, I was terrified at the time and didn't know what to do. It was Ryuji who saved me, now that you know the truth. Do you still think Ryuji is in the wrong? Since you understand now, then hurry back and discipline your students properly. This matter is not Ryuji's fault at all. It was the Kendo Club's freshmen. Karen Tojo finally understood. She shouted loudly, Ryuji! Become my man. She would make Ryuji the happiest man in the world. Daijin was filled with confusion. Is this really something a girl can say? Daijin, of course, did not agree. I immediately became interested. Launching a confession attack at a time like this. The world of romantic comedy is truly terrifying. I need to hurry up and enjoy the drama. And I wasn't the only onlooker. Ritsuka was also extremely gossipy. Could this be the legendary love at first sight? This girl is just way too cool. Things are a mess. It's a mess. In the original story, the two who should have been rivals actually became good friends. And Ritsuka instantly turned into a love guru. Ready to teach Karen Tojo the secrets of chasing boys? At this moment, the classroom was very lively. As they were guessing who Ryuji would choose, some people think that hot girl is a better fit. It seems like what just happened. Everyone is talking about it. After Karen dropped this bombshell, I think this matter will spread all over the campus. At this moment, Ritsuka said to me, who do you think Ryuji will end up with? Actually, I'm not too sure either. If it follows the story development of the original work, he would end up with his childhood friend. But just then, Ritsuka said, she actually already knew who he would date. And then, the answer is Karen Tojo, but on the condition that Ritsuka has to give him advice. Ritsuka seems very confident in her counseling skills. Ritsuka said she is an expert. She has been in countless romantic relationships. I don't understand why she would get excited over this kind of thing. Does she want someone to ask her for love advice that badly? Time quickly passed to the afternoon, and when I pushed open the door, I found a figure sitting ahead. And that person was Karen Tojo. I couldn't understand why she was sitting in our classroom. I heard from a friend that she seemed to be pestering Ryuji to hang out together over the weekend. If they are hanging out over the weekend, isn't that a date? However, my friend's next words stunned me. I heard she seems to be the daughter of some big shot. Her father seems to be a boss of a Yakuza group, and Tojo also inherited her father's strengths. Their family is a huge organization that controls the entire Kanto region. This news surprised me, but I didn't care. Even if they have an extraordinary background, Tojo actually hasn't done anything. But I quickly noticed something was wrong. Come to think of it, I was already in a romantic comedy manga to begin with, so this kind of thing should easily happen, right? Just then, Tojo, Karen shouted, Ryuji, you haven't accepted my weekend invitation yet. I must properly apologize to you. Can you hang out with me? Daijin told the other to stop pestering Ryuji. His behavior made Ryuji very uncomfortable. Karen Tojo was very angry. What does this have to do with you? This scene made the whole class envious. I really wish I also had two girls fighting over me. Next, an interesting scene occurred. During class, Karen Tojo also came to invite him. During PE class, Karen Tojo also came to invite him. Even when he went to the restroom, Karen Tojo also came to invite him. Ryuji was really breaking down, hoping Tojo would give it a rest. During lunch, Ritsuka asked me what I planned to do this weekend, but I didn't have any plans. I was thinking of helping out at the restaurant when Ritsuka said, how about considering coming to her house? She has tons of manga at her house, as many as I want. She also said she would definitely surprise me, because her dad is a collector. It's practically like a manga cafe. So I decided that when I'm free, I will definitely call her. Suddenly, I noticed one thing, which is that I think Ritsuka eats so much. Yet she is still so thin. Ritsuka told me not to worry. She won't gain weight no matter what she eats. She is someone who naturally doesn't gain weight. It really surprised me. Is there really such a person in the world? Just then, Karen Tojo suddenly walked over. Ritsuka was a bit surprised, not understanding why she sat next to her. However, this was also perfect. She finally has an opportunity now to teach someone about romance. So, I went up to strike up a conversation. After a brief self-introduction, Ritsuka felt like Tojo had a lot on his mind lately. So Ritsuka wanted to help. Hearing Ritsuka's name, Tojo was also startled. Tojo heard that Ritsuka is a love expert. Ritsuka pretended not to hear, and asked Tojo to repeat it. So Tojo shouted loudly, I heard you are a love counseling expert. I've heard of your name. I can't believe what Ritsuka told me was all true. He really is an expert. Tojo was very puzzled. Why others would know what was on his mind. You come to our class to find Ryuji every break. It would be a miracle if no one knew. He quickly covered Ritsuka's mouth. Everyone is about to hear. Keep it down. Tojo also said he wanted to hear Ritsuka's advice, especially regarding relationships. When I went back, I found Ritsuka was having way too much fun. Today, he and Tojo agreed that after school tomorrow, everyone needs to have a serious talk, including me. But in the original story, these two were supposed to be Ryuji's love rivals. It's really strange that they are helping him so actively. However, I can't be bothered to think too much about it. I'd better focus on my workout. As soon as I walked in, I found the place was already packed. Could there be some event today? Everyone is here today. Just then, I heard someone calling me from behind. I turned around to look, and it was actually Yukika. She was originally the young lady of a Yakuza family, but now, in order to fall in love, she has actually started learning how to apply makeup and dress up. And all of this is thanks to Ritsuka. At this moment, his expression was completely different from before. Seeing Yukika's arrival, I finally understood why the people in the gym were so excited. Yukika didn't know where to start. Later I learned that we were able to meet here because he recently moved. Just as I was wondering, a voice came from behind. Nakayama Tamajiro said, "Perfect. He hoped I could show Yukika around." But this old man thought Yukika might have come here because she likes me. I felt this old man must have misunderstood. After that, it was my showtime. The old man told me to do a 220 kilograms warm-up. These words startled Yukika. Such a heavy load right from the start? The old man said, "Don't worry." He had been a professional athlete since 20 years ago, but he had never seen a monster like him. I grabbed the barbell, and then slightly bent my knees. Under the boss's astonished gaze, I immediately started doing squats. This completely stunned Yukika. Then the old man said, 220 kilograms is too light. Increase it to 270 kilograms for me. 270 kilograms was also a breeze for me. The old man winked at Yukika. "See, I told you. He's a monster. You don't need to worry." Yukika also had to admit that this was not a physique a second-year high school student should have. He was simply a monster, and that was the anomaly he had only heard of in rumors. The body of the blazing yang. Regarding this, Yukika was absolutely certain. The ultimate body of pure yang. A constitution born with the strength of 100 men. The great heroes and historical legends all possessed this kind of body, he was absolutely sure. Because he had fought against me in battle. That's not a strength you can get just by training. Yukika felt that she should report this matter to that person quickly. Time quickly passed, and the next day came. We arrived at Tojo Karen's house. Everyone was very respectful to her, saying, "Welcome home, young lady. It seems her family really is the Yakuza." Why isn't Ritsuka surprised at all? Is this the norm in this world? As someone who just traveled to this world, I'll never get used to it, but the aura I emanated made even the Yakuza a bit startled. He immediately stopped me. "Are you a spy sent by another organization, you bastard?" These words gave Tojo Karen a big fright. "What are you talking about? He is my classmate." But those people didn't believe it at all. Look at the murderous aura on him. And no matter how you look at that face, he doesn't look like a high schooler, young lady. Hurry up and come over here. Get away from him. But I clearly didn't do anything. Is it just because I look a bit mature? Although, thank you for the invitation. But I don't think I can help much with relationship advice. Ritsuka said I would be of great use, and told me to wait on the side first. Then she started teaching Tojo Karen relationship skills. First, you must learn to cook. Just trust the advice of relationship expert Ritsuka. Isn't this guy ashamed to say such things? After that, the three of us prepared to start cooking. We cooked all the way from noon to evening, and Tojo Karen finally made a bento. This was the first time she made a bento by herself. It felt pretty good, but just now, Tojo Karen accidentally turned the heat up too high. As a result, all of her ingredients turned to ashes. Even if she is a beginner. The smell of made even Ritsuka feel hungry. Then I suggested, should I whip up some dinner? I told Ritsuka to leave the food to me, and you only need to be responsible for how to teach Tojo Karen about dating. The next second, I started my specialty, egg fried rice. The way I tossed the wok really stunned the two of them. In just 1 minute, I fried up a golden egg fried rice. Both of them tasted a bit of it. The taste was simply amazing. Tojo Karen and Ritsuka were both very surprised. "So you actually know how to cook? And you make it so delicious?" I explained. I started making my own bento in the second semester of my freshman year. During the first semester, my mom would always wake up early in the morning to make bento for me. Every time I saw how tired she looked, I felt extremely guilty. At first, because I was clumsy. It was quite a struggle to make, but now I've finally gotten the hang of it. This aroma has almost made Ritsuka drool with hunger. Making bento for yourself to help your hardworking mother is simply so touching, thinking about it now. Ritsuka almost forgot something. A gift she had specially prepared before coming. Ritsuka went to a cosmetic store yesterday, specifically to buy some necessary things. And Ritsuka wrote down all the skincare steps on a sticky note. Next time you need to restock, just buy according to it. Once you learn how to put on makeup, and successfully, ask your date out. We'll go buy clothes together. However, Ritsuka has only seen Tojo at school. Her usual style is a bit different. Her style is a bit like an old grandpa's. These words really stung Tojo's heart. Unexpectedly, Ritsuka really is outspoken, and then, Ritsuka then prepared to start helping Tojo with her makeup, telling me to wait here, and telling me not to peek, otherwise, she would drag me inside. Immediately after, she pushed Ritsuka inside the door. I really don't know what I came here for. It really interfered with my training. After being busy all day, we were finally ready to leave Ritsuka. Hoped that Tojo's date would be a success at this moment. I passed by a convenience store. I wanted to go in and buy a manga magazine. Ritsuka was very happy and also wanted to go in and buy something. What I bought this time was Liu Yijian. Ritsuka also likes his manga, and she often heard her dad say, There are no bad people among those who like manga. But if I remember correctly, Ritsuka should also be buying it every week. So, she said. She herself counts as a good person, I nodded. What you said is indeed correct. Because you are absolutely a good person. You go all out for Tojo all day long, in my opinion. Someone who can do this for others is a good person. My words made Ritsuka blush deeply. You jerk! Why do you have to say such straightforward things? So she paid and laughed. Probably because she was too shy. But I didn't think so. I guess she must have been getting ready to go take a dump. Probably couldn't hold it in anymore. Time came to the next day. Everyone was shocked by Tojo's outfit. Today, Tojo had her hair in small braids. And was even wearing a skirt. If you didn't look closely, they really almost couldn't tell it was Tojo. Because the change was just too big. Just then, Tojo pulled out a letter. This is a letter of challenge, Ryuji. This weekend, you have to go somewhere with me. However, Ryuji was stunned. Ryuji didn't recognize the person in front of him.